What's good, everyone, man? This is the Live For You podcast. I got my man Sam Albert here, man. This is pretty dope, man. I'm really happy to have this man here. There's a lot of nice things that we're gonna be talking about, specifically, real estate and what how you got involved in passion and all
Yeah.
the above, man.
Or no, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I see you always doing your things. I'm always tuned in, so I'm always happy to join and talk
Yeah,
about real estate for sure.
yeah, man. This is like I feel like we should have been had this like a while ago.
Long overdue.
Yo, long overdue, man. And
For
obviously
sure.
because of like COVID and all this stuff,
Right.
we're doing it via Zoom, but it's all good, man. We can still create content and get the information out there to people who really need it, and for people to hear as well. But
Yeah, for sure.
before we get started, just tell, because I have a lot of friends too from like Massachusetts. I know we have a
Hmm.
lot of mutual friends in Providence, but a lot of my friends from Massachusetts, I've been talking to you about them and stuff, and just about the projects that
Hmm.
you've been doing. So just give a little brief explanation about who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So like you said, I go by the name of Sam Albert.
Yeah.
I'm a realtor, developer, and investor.
Yeah.
Down here around. I got into real estate pretty early without even realizing it. So I got my first property. I was probably I think I was like 22.
Wow,
It
man,
was a
that's
two.
young,
Yeah, it
man.
was a two. Yeah, it was a two unit. And then essentially I was renting it out. I think my mortgage was like at the time like 1,300, which is crazy.
Wow.
1,300. And then I was renting out one floor for maybe like 1,100. These numbers are
Yeah,
these are
it's all
close. No,
good.
yeah,
Just
I'm pretty
estimates.
pretty pretty estimates. Yeah, pretty
Yeah, yeah,
close to it.
yeah,
1,100, and then essentially, I got into flipping as well.
yeah,
And then from there, I started to say like, all right, let me think of this as kind of a business. And
yeah,
then once I realized like, yo, if I moved out of this two unit, I'd actually be making money. Like, and at the time I wasn't making much. I probably was making like 30, 40 thousand dollars a year,
wow.
um, as a case manager.
Yeah,
So I was like, all right, if I can move out and make an additional like, let me see. I think I was making if I can move out and I can make an additional. I think my
yeah,
thought process was like 700, right?
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, if I can make an additional 700 coming in a month, that pays for my
yeah,
car and
yeah,
insurance.
yeah.
Like
That's a
this is
come
good.
up.
So that
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so now I was like, all right, so this is actually a business. Like I know
yeah,
this is a rental property, but I started to think it was at that moment I started to think of real estate as how it could benefit me. So
yep,
then I started to flip property, which is a different ball game. I lost money on my first two.
yeah, yeah,
And then I got my license. I got my license just to primarily save on the commissions because I was
yep,
like, all right, I lost money on these. Where did a lot of my money go? It was
yep.
commissions and then hiring the
So
wrong
you got your
people.
license to save on commissions?
That was the first reason. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
believe it or not.
Wow.
And then I started to post on Snapchat. Like I was just a bad employee at that point. I was
Yeah,
always home. I was on, I was on the grill, and
yeah, yeah,
people would ask me, "What do you do?" I was like, "Oh, I do real estate," and I got
yeah,
my real estate license. So
yeah,
then I started to help people that I went to college with, URI, get
yeah,
their houses, and then from there, just posting it on social media,
yeah, man.
was just the biggest. And then I started to pick up that aspect of my business as a realtor, and then that's when it kind of just took
Yeah.
off from there. So
So I'm curious, man. So like, what like where did the motivation come from? You know what I mean? Because I know you had mentioned, you said you kind of just got started into it, but like where did that like passion come from? Was it like a mentor that you had, or like
yeah,
what was
yeah, I guess I gave you the watered down version. So
well, 'cause I want to
if
know. I want to know,
you
you know
want
what
to
I mean?
know,
Because
you
you
want to know, no, all right, all right. So essentially, I went to URI.
yeah,
I went to URI, and I I was working, not working, but I was studying human development, family studies, and health service administration. That's what I
yeah,
graduated in. So as I was going through school, I was working with a family. I was working with two boys that were on the spectrum. And they were like, when I started working with them, they were like 11, maybe
Okay.
12. We're talking like preteen, like
Yeah.
teenagers. And then I stayed with them all the way till like 18, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Um, but the mom was a realtor. So I had a really good relationship with the mom. She was so cool. Like it didn't feel like work. So I was doing APTS or PASS, what we
Yeah.
call work. It was essentially there's kids that are on the autism spectrum, and you would help them with like life skills,
Yeah. Of course.
just like all that stuff. There was a
Yeah.
treatment plan, and I assisted. But the mom, I really clicked with them a lot, and the mom was super chill, and
Yep.
I still know
Yeah.
her very well. So like it would be like just let's just go to the movies, let's hang
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah. Of
kind of
course.
building that rapport with them, and kind of being a role model. I think I
Yeah.
ended up being a role model to them more than anything.
Hmm.
Um, but the mom was a realtor, and she convinced me to buy my first house. So after I graduated URI, um,
Wow. Early, man.
yeah, after I graduated URI, I went back home for a little bit, and I couldn't. My mom was like calling me like at 11 p.m. So
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
This ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
So um, I eventually, I went through her to buy my first house. I was like, yeah, I actually do want to buy my first house.
Yeah.
I think I might have asked her a question or two, and she was like, hey, you can do this. So I did it. And then she's also the one that got me into flipping. I was like, I don't got any money to flip. She's like, no, I actually have a property that I'm getting ready to that I'm wholesaling, and we can. I could
Yeah.
say some. I could say it's on camera because I'm not gonna say who she is or
Okay. Yeah.
this
Of
is
course.
old
Of course.
stuff.
Of course. Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
she played with the numbers. We played with the
Yep.
numbers. The private, she knew the private
Yeah.
lender. She got me in the door,
Yeah.
and that was just by knowing who she was. We made it work with very little money down, and that was really all I needed to take off. So once I got a taste of that, it was just like, holy shit! Like
Yeah.
I can make some money with this, right? I can make
Yeah,
some
man.
opportunities. I can create some opportunities with this. So
Yeah.
that's where it came from. And but I guess I tend to think like real estate. Oh, I was always intrigued by it without really realizing it, right? So
Yeah.
I was always watching MTV Cribs. I
Yeah.
was on any show, like I was simple shows, like even
Yeah.
the Cosby Show, like
Yeah.
that's just what I remember, like just coming down the stairs while they're
Oh
sitting on the
yeah.
couch,
Yeah.
like
Oh
the
man, you're
stairs
getting real
behind them,
specific.
like
Yeah.
I would always like pay attention to
Yeah.
things like that, right? So it was just little things like that, and them walking into the kitchen was towards the left with the
Yeah.
door that would go like it was just very like intriguing to me. So I think I was always interested in it, but
Yeah.
um, I think I can call her my mentor. She's the one that kind of
Yeah,
sparked
man.
that interest and made it more of a reality. So that's
Yeah.
what drew me in.
Okay, cool, man. That's pretty dope, man. That's awesome, man.
That's deep enough.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's perfect, man. That's perfect, man. It's cool too, cause like I have a lot of like, and I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you, but I have a lot of friends who, have said a lot of good things about you, who worked with you. You know what I mean?
Oh, word.
And
Word.
I'm like,
I
yeah, man.
I
Like I'm
always
trying to get
appreciate
him on
that.
my podcast. This dude's a really good dude, a genuine guy. You know what I mean? But a few questions
I
that I
really
want to
appreciate
I
that.
wanted to ask you too was like, yo, so most people when they hear real estate or investing and trying to acquire some property, it's like, okay, I have to put thousands of dollars in or whatever. I have to put a large
Yeah.
amount of money in. And the second thing is like, when do you know when it's like, okay, because usually from what I heard, from just hearing from people talk, it's like if you see something available online, chances are you're probably not going to get a good deal on that, or it's probably, really overpriced at that point. So it's like, how do you know when to strike and like, what's a reasonable, and this is probably a tough question, but like what's a reasonable amount of money to put down into like acquiring like property and stuff, because I feel like that's so gray, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But
Well, kind of, but not really. So I'll kind of separate that
yeah,
question into two parts. So how much money do you need down, right? This is a big misconception because
yeah,
I think a lot of people they feel as though like you need to have like $20,000. I hear that all
yeah,
the time. Like 20
yeah,
for some reason people think you
yeah,
need
like
twenty
twenty
thousand dollars to
thousand,
put
thirty
down.
thousand.
Yeah, like and what you could, right?
Yeah,
There's programs that you're putting 5%, 10% down, which would equate to that
yeah,
20, 30%. I mean 20, 30,000. But this is nationally. So the answer to this question is nationally, the for first time home buyers, or if you don't own any property, you can buy a house for 3.5% down.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Actually, you can go as low as 3% if you're going conventional, but I won't even get into
Yeah. Yeah.
conventional versus FHA. But
Yeah.
3.5% is kind of the rule of thumb. And
Yeah.
minimum, I would say standard is at least a 620.
Yeah.
Right. So 3.5% can vary depending on the state that you're in.
That's
So like
true.
if you go to somewhere like Cleveland or like Detroit, even down south, like the
Yeah.
properties are
Yeah.
cheaper. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The properties are much cheaper. Like you can probably
Yeah.
go to Atlanta and buy something
Yeah.
for like $200,000 that's
Oh
really,
yeah.
really nice. And that would your down payment's like 6,000, you know what I mean? Six,
Yeah.
eight
That's like
thousand around there
very
for that
manageable.
three and
Yeah.
a half percent.
Hmm.
Very, very manageable. Or you can go somewhere like in Boston where to get a 3 unit property is at least 800,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you're talking, I mean, now it's a different ball game
Yeah,
because now
man.
you're talking at least like $24,000
Yeah. Yeah.
just to get in the door. So it
Yeah.
does depend on where you're
Location. Yeah.
located. Um, but 3.5%
Yeah.
is the rule of thumb.
Yeah.
So that's the answer. But there are also a lot of programs for first time home buyers. I know in Rhode Island Housing offers a program that a lot of it's a product essentially that a lot of lenders offer, and it's no money down, and there's
Yeah.
literally no catch to it. I get what's the catch?
Yeah.
There really isn't. I mean, the only catch would be like it's no longer a grant; it's a
Oh,
loan, but it's what we call like a silent loan. So
okay.
essentially, you're not making any payments on that down payment assistance or that down payment loan that they're giving you.
So it's a grant, you
Um,
said? It's a grant?
it's no longer a grant. It
Oh,
used to
no
be a
longer a
grant.
grant. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a loan. All right,
Okay.
but let's just say you're buying a house and the required down payment was $8,000,
Yep.
which is 3.5%, right? Or 3.5% or something. They still
Yep.
go by the 3.5%.
Yep.
If the down payment was supposed to be $8,000, you can go get a loan from them for $8,000, right?
Yeah.
It's a 0% interest loan. It's what we call a silent loan where you don't have to make any payments
0%
on it.
interest. Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it's free money.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't
Yeah.
have to make you don't have to make any payments on it.
Yeah.
You just have to pay it back whenever you sell the house, whether that's in 10 years or 30 years or 40
Okay.
years, whenever that is, or
Okay.
like 2 years, whatever. You pay it back if you sell it, if you refinance it. Um, what else is one? Pretty much if you sell it or if you refinance
So
it.
you just pay the amount
Um,
that that they've loaned you pretty much.
yeah, if you borrowed 8,000, you'd pay that back and
Yeah.
whenever you sell the house or whenever you refinance the house. So
Yeah.
it's a
So
separate, it's not part of your mortgage payment, it's separate.
yeah.
So I guess I said all that to say the rule of thumb is 3.5% down,
Yep.
but you could really go buy a house right now for zero money down, for nothing down. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's kind of there's different products like that or initiatives like that nationally, but that's speaking to Rhode Island Housing specifically. Now, there's other costs that come about
Yeah.
aside from your down payment, like attorney fees, brokerage fees, home
Yeah.
inspections, but those are so minimal. Like
Yep.
you could really go buy a house with very little money in the bank.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, I understand that. Definitely understand that, man. And I've seen people like purchase homes. I'll see online someone will be like, "Oh, I bought this home for $1 or something." I don't know if this applies to what you're going to be saying, but like,
so yeah, that's a little different. I wouldn't, that's a
ye-
little different. That is like in areas like Philadelphia where there's a
yeah,
ton of like foreclosures and there were
yeah,
initiatives
foreclosures,
and
yeah,
and kind of tough pockets for houses that were just vacant um for 10 years or more. Like
yeah,
that I've seen that's not a lie.
yeah,
Those I don't think that exist any longer.
yeah,
But yeah, there's been a ton, but that's a good point. There's a ton of initiatives in every city, in every state for stuff like that where people just don't know about it. You know what I mean?
yeah. So okay, and another question I really wanted to get at too was that I saw I think it was last year or maybe a few months ago that you had
Yeah.
put something out on social media. It was like this project that you were working on, and I think you were gonna have like a few just random people. Like it was like a selection
Yeah.
of like a few people
Oh
and
yeah.
work on a project with them. And one, how did that end up? And two, is
Hmm.
that something that you do just in Rhode Island, or is it something that you're do or planning to do in like other areas or states and stuff? Because I thought that was wicked dope, man.
Yeah, so that's Sam Albert Flips. So
Yeah.
that I did the first what I call season. So I had like 15 folks. Kind of I put them through like a curriculum, and I literally
Yeah.
showed them and taught them everything they need to know about flipping a house.
Yeah.
Where to find the money, where to find the deal, where to find contractors. Like, I had an electrician come in, private lender
Yep.
attorneys. Like, what's the attorney's role? What's some red flags?
Yeah.
How long it should take? X, Y, Z. So we did that. It completed. I think it ended in May. Um, and one of the people in that program actually just finished his first flip, which
Wow,
is
man.
pretty
That's
really really
that's
dope. Yeah,
cool,
it's
man.
really really dope.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it again. I'm going to do it again, right? Where I'm
Yeah.
actually moving it. I'm moving it online only because my
Yeah.
schedule just doesn't
Yeah.
allow
Yeah. Yeah.
for me to give the time that I want to dedicate to it in person. But
Yeah.
literally every single thing that I taught them is going to be online, and it's going to be kind of interactive videos like this.
Nice. Nice, man.
And essentially it's just an online course. So it's nationally. I think it really is the same rules all across the board. They
Yeah.
may be different. There's a difference between contracts and kind of the processes of buying a property in different states, but across the board, the same applies. Like the
Yeah.
same steps, the same kind of protocols apply on how to flip property. So
Yeah.
I plan on. I'm working on it now. Actually, it's funny that you bring it up. I
Yeah.
was working on that earlier
Oh, for
today.
yeah, yeah.
So
Because
the
it's
plan
dope,
is
man.
the plan is for end of September, early October to just move that all online,
Yeah.
and people can buy it. And
Yeah.
everybody that's already on, there's a wait list of 300 people right now.
Wow.
So there's no, yeah, there was just, I think it was just bigger than I anticipated, and
Wow, man.
there's no way that
Damn.
I can do 300 people in person, even if I did 15 at a time. Like my schedule just doesn't allow it. So everybody that's already on the wait list will have access to it for free.
Yeah.
And going forward from there, it'll just be people can just purchase the course,
Yeah.
the
So,
course.
wow, man. That's crazy, yo. Look what you like, yo. You have
Yeah,
something brewing, man.
yeah,
Like,
it's pretty insane. Yeah, like I haven't looked at the wait list in like a month or two, so it's probably up to like 400 right now.
so
It's
is that
pretty crazy.
is that specifically to like Rhode Island residents and Rhode Island folks, or is it to anyone?
So I mean, I blasted it. So when it goes online, so the initial thought was that you had to be here, right? Because I took people to my actual flips. Like I took
Yep.
them, they've seen like everything. They've seen a house gutted out, they've seen a house complete, they've seen a house in the middle. So the idea was that yeah, you kind of have to be around to come
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean, see what we're talking about and see the actual project. But with it moving online, you can be anywhere. You
Yeah.
can be in Arizona. You can be in
Yeah,
Hawaii. You can
man.
be in Rhode Island. It's not gonna matter.
Bro, man. At some point, you know, I just feel like, because so I'm originally from Providence, born and raised in
Yeah.
Providence, but I went to school out in like Massachusetts, and met my wife
Hmm.
out here, and then I live out here now. But I feel like, there's a if you ever have like, some trainings or whatever it is in Massachusetts, or things that you're trying to set up in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
do not hesitate to hit me up, because I feel like there's a
I
lot of
definitely won't.
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity out here, you know what I mean? And a lot of people who are willing to like learn and make some moves, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because obviously Providence is Rhode Island in itself is great. And I know a lot of folks are definitely looking to learn this field, because it's been ignored. I feel like I
Yeah.
feel like people hear 20,000 or 30,000 and they kind of stray
Right.
from talking about things. But no, man,
Yeah.
that's incredible, man. Like that because when I seen the
I
footage
appreciate
too,
it.
and then when I seen you like showing firsthand like the folks who are new into like a brand new like property, hey, like I'm thinking of doing this, or I'm thinking of doing
Right.
that, or like really planning and sitting down and taking the time to do that. I'm like, man, this is pretty dope, man.
Yeah, and it's just easier than what people really think. You know what I mean? I think it it can sound very like daunting, like you're flip, you're rehab, you're buying a distressed property,
Yeah.
rehabbing it and you're selling it, and it could be
Yeah.
a lot. I'm not gonna downplay it,
And
but
yeah.
I just kind of said like, I can do this stuff with my eyes closed at this point. Like, why not
Yeah.
just share that knowledge with people? Because I think I was starting to get asked the question all the time, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe there really is a need
Yeah.
for people like, black and brown people to understand, like, there's
Absolutely.
a way to invest in this stuff. This is up for grabs, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely,
I
man.
just I really wanted to just share that. I still do. Like,
Yeah.
I get bored with with my job in real estate. Like, this
Yeah.
is what I enjoy doing, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yo.
a blessing, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like, I'm just building another house. Like,
Yeah.
it's just and to people, it's just like, wow, like, you have like 12 new constructions coming this summer. And to me, it's just like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a lot of phone calls with
Yeah. So
contractors and dealing with the cities. But I enjoy, like, just putting people on and just like educating and just
yeah, man.
answering simple questions. Like, that's where I thrive, and that's kind of where I've
Yeah.
always like really I think my purpose is to be a resource, right? So
Nice, man.
that's just kind of what drives me. All this other stuff is
Yeah.
just,
Nice, man.
it's just my life.
So a lot of like what I'm thinking in my mind now too is risk. I feel like you're not afraid to like take a
Oh
shot,
my
right?
God. Hell no. There's so much risk. Like, I've lost.
Yeah.
Like, well, I haven't lost since my first two,
Yeah.
right? And that, so yeah, I think I learned really quick. But
Yeah.
there is risk associated with
Yeah.
investing.
Yeah.
And I think you can't be afraid of risk. Like, if you can sit, like, my biggest thing too is like, if you I just always look at the history of the US market, and people just
Yeah.
fail to really understand this. Like, if in 2011 you were like, no, I'm not buying, because in 2011 or 2010, right?
Yeah.
It was really easy for people to say, like, hell no, I'm not buying, because in
Yeah.
2008 the market just crashed.
Yeah, man. That was bad.
You know what I mean? It was bad.
Yeah.
But like, I have people that bought in 2010, and I think they were buying like 3-unit properties in Providence
Ooh.
for like 90,000, 100,000, 110,000.
Oh,
Those same 3 units right now are 380,
wow, man.
400.
Wow.
Like, you can't get a decent three-family right now for less than 375,
Wow.
360. No, you're
Wow.
not. You're not. You're just not. It's
Man.
not good. You can, but it's gonna be, you gotta put some work into it.
Yeah.
But but imagine people that were buying 2010 listen to all the, like, it's too risky, it's too, like, no. Like, I have
That's a
people from
fact.
like I'm talking like regular people, like
Yeah.
Haitian men from
Yeah.
from the church that I grew up with, that are
Yeah.
like 60, 70 years old.
Yeah.
I'm selling three of their 3 units, and they're walking away
Wow.
with $1 million.
Wow.
Like, just
Wow,
because
man.
they you know what I mean, they saw opportunity, they took it. So
Yeah.
I always just, I don't know, I was never afraid of it, especially being young still. Especially
Yeah.
when I started young, I was like, if I'm gonna make a mistake, I'm gonna make it now. Like,
Yeah. So
before, like, before I got too old, or before
yeah.
it made no sense financially. So I was
Yeah.
never afraid of risk.
So then what would you tell people who are interested in real estate um and want to like get involved in like investing and taking a chance? Like
Yeah.
what would be an advice that you would like give to that person who's like hesitating and saying, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna save this for I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna invest in the market and put my money towards there and not like." What would you say to people who are really hesitant and trying to
You
pursue this?
so you got to be comfortable. Number one, like,
Yeah.
I would, but you should never invest your savings.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
would.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
always all in. Like, even now, like,
yeah,
I don't keep much money in the bank. Like,
yeah,
I'm all
yeah,
in.
yeah,
Like, I can flip something and make a lot of money, and then I
yeah,
might go out and then, buy something
yeah, yeah. Do
nice,
your thing. Yeah,
save whatever amount that I
yeah,
that I always save. The rest was just, it's not sitting in
yeah,
my checking account. So I would
yeah,
just say, never invest what you're not willing to lose. Number one,
yeah,
right? But don't be that guy that just, or that girl, that lady that just sits and watches and watches and watches. Oh, nah, not right now, not right now.
yeah, man.
Nah, the market's bad right now. The market's
Yeah,
bad right now, and then you're gonna be shooting yourself in the foot. You're gonna be very upset when it's 2024, and you're saying I should have just bought that house in 2021, like I would have been chilling right now.
Yeah, yeah,
You
man.
never want to. You never want to be that person, right?
Don't want to have
You're better.
regrets.
You're better off talking to a professional like myself and saying, "All right, here's what I have. I'm looking for some opportunity. What do you recommend?"
Yeah,
You could. This if you talk to somebody like me, I can't anticipate that. It's very very slim chance that you're going to lose money. You
yeah,
may not make money for whatever reason. Things go
yeah,
wrong, like what you think is taking 5 months is going to take 8 months, whatever.
yeah,
But you're not gonna in real estate unless the market has a shift. Like you shouldn't be losing that much money. So I would just encourage anybody that is willing to like invest some money or a good chunk of money to just take the
yeah,
leap of faith because your money sitting in the bank is not you're actually losing money, right?
yeah,
With inflation and the cost of living, you're losing money.
yeah.
Um, so you can invest it in the market, you can invest it in real estate,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that what 90% of millionaires are made so through real estate too,
Yeah,
right?
man.
So
That's a fact.
I would just say don't do your homework, speak to a professional, whether it's a realtor or another investor that you know of, and just see what the pros and cons are. Like there's the good, the bad, and the ugly in it as
Yeah,
well. But if you do your due diligence,
yeah,
you will be okay, even if you're not hitting a home run.
yeah,
But I would encourage anybody that's willing to invest or wants to invest to just take that leap of
yeah.
faith, really.
So, so what do you think about? Because I've heard guys talk about this in the past too, about like when it comes to investing or buying property, um,
Hmm.
about pooling their monies together and looking into like doing what, like pulling their money together and buying like a
Yeah,
home, buying this or whatever. Like what would you like say to like people like that who are like, oh, let's all go into on this together, you know what I mean? Or like,
I
because
think
I've heard that
I
multiple times.
yeah, I think that's the best way to get started. Is to kind of partnership, pool your money
Yeah,
together, joint venture. Like that is a really good way to say, all right, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I
yeah,
got 30,000 saved. I'm willing to invest 10 of it, right?
yeah,
That's not enough to get you in the door for your first flip.
yeah,
But you may say, yo, John, you want to
yeah,
throw down 10 or 15 with me, go half, go 50-50.
yeah,
That's the best way to do it. It's less risk for you at that point, right?
yeah.
But
Right.
you're also learning, right? And then
Yeah.
I encourage that. I really really do because I don't think for the first one you should go all in.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a lot to learn. There's a
Yeah.
lot of risk
Yeah.
involved with folks that don't know the ins and outs, right? So
Yeah.
you're better off doing it with somebody too, because I also think that's a benefit because there's a lot that goes into flipping a house or building a house, whatever it is. And I think especially if you're working a job, let's just say like you're a nurse and it's like
Yeah.
from like you have like that 7 in the morning, 7 at night. That's the
Yep.
whole day. Like how
Yeah.
can you be there to talk to your contractors? It may
Yeah.
make sense depending on your schedule to have a partner that'll say like, hey, I'll do all the running around, you control the numbers, XYZ. I think it makes your life easier
Yeah.
when you're starting out to be in a partnership. So I encourage that as well.
Okay, cool. So in the partnership, can it be like, would you like recommend 3 to 5 or no more than five or
No, no more. Honestly, two is
two?
good,
Wow. Okay.
but no more than three because because the numbers. This is going down a different road, but like
Yeah.
if you're trying to flip property with 5 people, you're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
Splitting a profit nowadays in with Rhode Island numbers, or this is kind of nationally because
Yeah.
although prices have gone up, like for the banks want more too on the front end. So like if you see a foreclosure, like the margins have shrunken because the cost of material has gone up. Sorry, and for the prices for foreclosures has gone up. So the margins have slimmed down a little bit. So like if you're splitting like a
Yeah.
profit
So,
5 ways,
yeah,
it
that's
may
like,
not be worth your while. And I
yeah,
think
facts.
I think you're not leaving a lot of room
Yeah,
for
like
error because
yeah.
you could easily, because we may say, hey, like I want to make just a random number, $50,000 on this flip.
Yeah.
Like things go wrong. Like that 50 can easily turn into 40, right? So
Yeah,
like if you're expecting like if you're going like 5 ways and you're expecting $10,000, that $10,000 can easily turn into like 6,000, and it's like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
well, you know what I
Gets
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah. It goes down really quickly. So okay, so
mhm.
and just let me know too, because I don't want to like I know you're busy, dude. Let me know if I'm
No, we're good. We're
all right,
good.
cool.
We're good.
So I did want to get to the topic about like different types of like real estate, and
Yeah.
I had mentioned there was like commercial, industrial, and some people even buy like raw land and stuff. Which one do you see the most like I guess potential in, or is it all kind of equally?
Oh, that's
Because
tough.
like
That's tough.
some people have,
So
yeah, some people say like raw land where you can put something there, and then or even like a a area that just has like nice parking. Like in Massachusetts, there's this in Springfield there's this festivals, like it's called the Big E, and like there's like
mhm,
some parking areas where every September people like fill that parking spot up, and it's like I'm like, man, the people who own this spot, who own this like, property,
right.
making a ton of money, man, every day. But it's like, what's the
It
like where
depends
would
on.
one
I
start?
don't
You know
think
what I mean?
there's. It depends on what your
Depends. Yeah.
goal is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some people, and you gotta like and love real estate. You gotta have an
Yeah.
interest in it, right? So some people would. I know investors that don't want to, don't care to, don't even get excited when it comes to new construction. And I know some that only want to find turnkey rental properties. I know some people that only want to do like 6 units or up, and
Yeah.
they don't want to do anything lower than that. But I
Yeah.
also know builders that that will not flip a property. They'll only build new construction. It depends on what you want to do. Is
Yeah.
there one that's better than another?
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
tough.
know. I
Yeah.
don't I don't. That's tough. For me, like I'm really into like raw land right now, like
Oh.
vacant
Oh,
lots like
really?
that. Yeah, hell yeah. I don't think I'll flip another property in a long time because
Wow.
it's just, yeah, I just like to build. It's easier,
Yeah.
number
It's like,
one.
yeah.
Um, and it's just it's a little it's less headaches in a sense. But I think it just depends. Like I think raw land is cool because they're not making you can't make any more land. Like
Yeah. I
you can
know.
build
Yeah.
houses, you can create houses. The earth is the earth. Like there ain't no
Yeah.
more land coming.
I
So
know.
like
I
I
know.
think
Right.
if you can find land and just, it's bound to appreciate over the course of time, whether that takes 5, 10, 15 years, whatever that is. But there's also more opportunity to build or create inventory for profit, right? So like
Yeah.
I also think it's less competitive because not many people know how to build.
Yeah, man.
Um, I think raw land is where it's at. Um,
So
but I think no matter what you decide to do, you just have to make sure that you're interested in it. Like,
yeah, man.
and that's all.
So going back to a question I asked earlier, like how do you know though, like when to like when an opportunity presents itself? I know obviously you got to do your research, and like looking online. I think the biggest thing is having like a source, like someone who's a professional who's in this industry. Obviously it's a benefit, but like if someone's just trying to find an opportunity, like I feel like online is too late. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I feel like if you're looking
As far
online,
as like a like
say
look
if someone's looking on like Zillow for an example or whatever,
for investment property.
investment property, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like by that
Yeah.
time it's like you know what I mean?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
It's different nowadays because there are very little deals out there. But if we like rewind like 2 years, yeah, the plug was the wholesaler. Like the
Oh
wholesaler
yeah,
was
yeah,
essentially
yeah,
the
yeah,
plug.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Off market deals. But even
exactly.
then, like, yeah, but yeah, that was the plug essentially.
Yeah,
But I'll tell you, it's case by case. But you
yeah,
need to have, if you're thinking about investing in real estate, you need to have a realtor, a really good realtor. Number one, a realtor that
yeah,
invests.
yeah,
You have to have a realtor that invests. I see a lot of people making a big mistake by going to realtors that don't even have a rental property.
Yeah.
how can I come to you as a realtor and you don't even own a rental property?
Yeah,
You know what I
facts.
mean? People make that mistake, and that's not a shot at realtors.
Facts. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
um,
facts.
but it's true.
Yeah, no, it's
You know what I
facts.
mean?
It's facts.
Um, so I think you need to have a really, really, really good realtor that
Yeah.
understands that aspect of things, because not every realtor even cares to invest or cares to have rental property. And that's okay. Like some people
Yeah.
just want to sell houses or do a rental,
Yeah.
find tenants rentals, or if you want to go like I only want to sell houses in Newport. Like I know realtors like that. Like they don't
Yeah.
care for all the extra stuff. But
Yeah.
for what we're talking about, the first step is really connecting yourself with a realtor that knows this realm of this side of the business, right?
Yeah.
Because you can find deals online. I will tell you what,
Yeah.
of this is real talk. The
Yep. Yep.
70 of the 70 houses, 70% of the houses that I flipped,
Yep.
70% of all the houses that I flipped, I found online on the MLS, which is
Damn.
the MLS is on
Yeah.
market.
Yep. Yep. Wow.
Yes.
70%?
Yes. Like
Wow.
you can find deals online. You just gotta find the right deals online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
passed on
Yeah.
I've looked at a bunch online. I've passed on a bunch of them. Mostly,
Yeah.
I probably passed on almost all of them, but there's always that one or two that are like, oh, this makes sense, and
Yeah.
I just gotta come with it. I just gotta come with with the best offer. But 70% of all the houses that I've ever flipped have come from MLS, which is on market pretty much. So like
Yeah.
Zillow,
Yeah.
then that feeds to
Yeah.
Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia,
Yeah.
etc.
So,
So you
so
can
like,
find deals online, but you gotta know. I was if I found that deal before it hit the market, yes, I would have paid less, but it was still a good deal. So I need to
yeah.
know those deals are amongst a bunch of other deals that are not good deals, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you know which one to pick? For me, I'm a realtor. I know what it's worth after the
Yeah.
fact. So
Yeah.
you need to know, hey, this house that I'm seeing on Zillow, they're asking, which is going to use
Yeah.
basic numbers.
Yep.
They're asking 100,000.
Yep.
You need to know what that house is worth if it was completely like renovated. So maybe
Mm.
that number is 250.
Yeah.
How do you know that? You need to have a realtor on your side. You need to
Yeah.
know that. You
Yeah,
just
man.
need to know that.
Yeah.
So you can say, all right, this house is on Zillow for 100 grand. You're going to need to go see that property and be able to see and be able to say, all right, it needs 50 grand or it needs 75 grand.
Yeah.
You need to be able to have go walk through that with a contractor that's going to tell
Yeah.
you like, nah, this
Yeah.
is going to cost 75 grand. So you
Yeah.
also need to have a contractor, right?
Yeah. Gotta
How
have
do
your
you find a
resources. Yeah.
contractor? Yeah, you got to have your resources, but it
Yeah.
starts with the realtor, because a good realtor is going to have a contractor that they have a relationship with,
Yeah.
right? So you may say, all right, so let's go look at, hey, realtor, I see this property for 100 grand. What do you think it's worth afterwards?
Yeah.
They're gonna tell you two fifty. They're gonna tell you 250,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be able to say, all right, it needs 75 with your contractor, and you're gonna say, all right, this is a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But you can if you went in there blind, and it's only worth 250, and they were asking 175, and you went in, you're gonna lose.
Lose. Yeah.
You're gonna lose.
Man, that's crazy, man. It really I feel like a lot of it really goes down to like trusting that realtor, man, and finding someone who obviously knows what they're doing and knows their information, and just kind of bringing them on board too, and then just having them kind of show the way like yourself, you
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
um I did want to ask you too, like what, like when you're you're flipping homes or acquiring property and stuff, like have you ever ran into like liens, like property or
Yeah.
houses that have like liens on them too? Because I heard that people can get in real like trouble if if they take on something and it has like a lien on it too, and now they have to be
Well,
responsible
yes
for.
and no. It should never be a surprise,
Yeah.
because what's gonna happen is your attorney is gonna is gonna run title on the house, and they're
Yeah.
gonna see these liens.
Okay.
There's never gonna be a surprise lien
Yeah.
bef- after you close, right? You
Yeah.
may put an offer on the house, they accept the offer, and then to your surprise, there's liens on it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but there should never
That
be
should be
liens that
initially, right?
yeah, you shouldn't find out about a lien after you've already owned
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would say there have been cases where there have been liens from the city on a property because um, the prior owner didn't do any renovations,
Oh,
right? Or not renovations, they didn't upkeep, right? So like there's broken windows,
yeah.
there was the grass was too tall, so the city put a lien on the
Yeah, man.
property,
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, there's cases like that where you want to just reach out to the city and say like, hey, I'm thinking of acquiring this property. How can we rectify this? I wanna solve this issue because the city just wants the problem
Yeah.
solved, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
So
Yep.
there's situations like that, but there should never be a scenario where a lien is a surprise after you've already purchased the property. Never,
Okay.
ever,
Okay.
ever, ever, because your attorney should run title on it, and you should be given what we call a title
Yeah.
insurance, um, title policy. So
So
there should never be.
yeah. So you really have to like in this thing in this like business too. And I'm like at some point I would like to introduce you to my brother-in-law too, because he talks a lot about
Hmm.
real estate. And I've shown him like some of your videos and all this stuff too. And so he's interested in just like talking to you. But
Yeah.
wanted to say there's like a you really have to have like a solid team, man. Like to do this by yourself, I'm sure it's possible, but like
It's possible, but yeah.
you got to have like especially starting out because like you're telling me you got to have the your lawyer, this obviously the realtor, then you gotta have to have like
Yeah.
the build, like whoever it is that you need when you're making these decisions, man. So like, and it seems like you have that network, man, and like
Hmm.
without that I feel like it's just like you're like just in the open, you know what I mean? Like free for
Yeah.
all type of thing. It's hard to like make moves. But so I think I mentioned this to you offline before too. Would you be
Hmm.
down? Because like I have someone who I want to like introduce you to who,
Hmm.
this lady, her name is Amanda Garcia. She's like this director of entrepreneurial services at Elms. And I would
Yeah.
love to introduce it to her, man, because she's very highly involved in like real estate and just like people
Yeah.
who are looking to launch new things like yourself with your program, online
Hmm.
program. And then like
Hmm.
I gotta like I gotta introduce you there.
I would absolutely love that, and
Yeah, man.
I'm always for building relationships. I think relationships is what has helped my business grow as quickly as it has grown.
Yeah,
And genuine relationships, right? Genuine, like long lasting relationships is key. So I'm always for that.
yeah,
I do want to go back and touch on your point about teams. So like
yeah.
I lost money on my first two properties. The second one really bad. The second one was so bad.
Yeah.
It was,
Now,
oh my
yeah,
god, it
like
was
now, why is that though?
nasty.
You know?
So because I didn't have the right teams in place.
Mm.
Um I essentially I didn't have the right contractors.
Yeah.
I didn't have the right contractors was the biggest thing. I hired the wrong contractors. I hired people that were um not reliable, that weren't the right people for the job, and I just lost money because I wasted a bunch of time. They said they were going to be somewhere they weren't. Um, it was bad. So I think having establishing a right team of I got an electrician. Maybe I have two electricians. I have two plumbers.
Yeah,
I have a
man.
GC. A general contractor is super 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 key. I have a GC. I got my attorney.
Yeah.
I got my realtor. You need to have a good team. That is
Yeah.
the biggest thing, and the GC and the contractors are going to be the pivotal. Everything else will follow, but if you can have a good GC, which is a general contractor,
Yep.
um, you're good. But I made the mistake of just going into it blind. Like I was just
Yeah.
calling people on Craigslist. Hey, can you
Yeah.
come fix this? Like
Yeah.
it was nasty.
Yeah. So how
But
do you detach yourself away from that? Like away from like that, like team originally, you know what I mean? Like
so you gotta the quickest way to have the right team is to get referrals. Do not go on Google trying to find roofers in Providence,
yeah.
contractors in Providence. The horror stories that you hear about people getting screwed by contractors.
Yeah, man.
Oh, he never came back. He took like half. First of all, why you paying half 50% up front. He took half of my money, and I never seen him after that. That's because
Crazy.
you didn't ask around.
Yeah.
Because if I was to ask Isaiah, like, hey, do you know a good contractor? If somebody screws you in the past, you're not gonna refer them.
Right.
You're
Right.
only gonna refer me to somebody that yo, like this person will do a good job. So
Yeah.
the quickest way to have good contractors and a good team around you, whether it's a loan officer,
Yeah.
attorney, is to ask people, right?
Yeah.
Just simply ask your friends, your family that have already bought a house. Hey,
Yep.
do you know a good contractor? Do you know a good realtor? Do you know a good attorney? Do you know, you know what I mean? They're going to say, yeah, I
Yeah.
know, yeah, I know John, like he's really good. He'll take care of you. But
Yeah.
the minute you go on Google and you're trying to like find contractors in the area,
Yeah.
you're getting screwed. And not only that, if a contractor's coming to your house and they know like, oh, Isaiah referred this person to
Yeah.
me, they're gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really are gonna
Yeah.
take care of you. So
Yeah.
that's the quickest way to establish a really good team and a
Yeah.
really good reliable team, and to avoid losing a bunch of money.
Yeah, man, that's a solid. That's a great answer, man, and that's clear. That makes sense, man. That makes sense a lot. But I do want to make sure before I we keep going. I do want to ask you, since obviously this is the Live for You podcast. Um, what does Live for You mean to you, man? Like, everyone I've had on this says something completely different. But when you hear that phrase "Live for You," what does it mean to you, man?
I'm actually still learning what it means.
Yeah, yeah,
I, I I will say it's my biggest thing has just been like staying out the way, right? And just focusing and taking the noise out. I think living for you just means um making just doing what makes you happy, number one, right? And I think that sounds cliche, but I think especially in this day and age with social media and everybody's looking to the left and whose grass is greener, is is just focusing on what truly makes you happy, and cutting out the noise and
yeah,
staying out the way, like protecting your
yeah,
peace and just staying out the way, doing what makes you happy,
yeah,
and
man.
just staying out the way. That's been my, like, for the past couple of months. I've just been like, let me just stay out the way. Let me just
Yeah,
do what I gotta
man.
do. Do what makes me happy. I'm gonna stay out the way.
Yeah,
Because for the longest time too, it's hard to like not look to your left, not look
yeah,
to your right, and see what he's doing, see what she's doing. But
yeah,
then everything that you're gonna be doing is probably not for you.
yeah,
You're gonna be doing it to keep up with the Jones, or you're gonna be doing it because you want to get a reaction out of this
yeah,
person, and you're gonna be doing it just because I want to post it on the gram,
yeah.
just so people can see that I did it. You know what I
Right,
mean? Nah.
right, right.
So I think just doing what genuinely makes you happy, and before you're doing anything, just looking internally and being like, all right, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, man.
So
That's a solid answer, man. And it seems like, with you, I feel like someone asked me the other time, like a while ago, like, yo, like, what's 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 something equivalent to winning the lottery other than something monetary, other than
that's a
money?
good question.
And I said, yo, I think it's if it's something that you find where it's like a career or something that you live for or do that you don't consider work, or you don't consider like, oh, I hate
Yeah,
doing this, or I'm not happy doing this. I think
I agree.
I think that's winning the lottery. You know what I mean? And it seems like with how you just are explaining like real estate and how you started and how like you had this mentor and you still
Yeah,
connect with your mentor, and your life process and how you're still living for you and you're still trying to figure it out, man. Like you've got it, yo. Like you've got it,
yeah,
man. Like that's why I really want
I
to like
appreciate that.
introduce you to like or connect you with people who I feel like can really like like enhance things too. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I feel like as long as what you're doing, being of service and helping others and really like trying to like spread that knowledge out, man. Like you're about to really blow. Like that program that you have in Providence that you're trying to do, that you do with the 300 wait list. That right there
Yeah, but
is
it's
like,
yeah, I don't even I appreciate it, and I don't even think of it that way. Like
yeah,
I have so much more concepts that I want to do.
nice,
Like I
man.
just but again, the ultimate goal is to just help people and just be a resource. Like that
Yeah,
is just my I think that's my purpose. Is like
Yeah.
everything else is just extra. Like I
Yeah.
I I hear this and I embrace it and
Yeah.
I thank you, right? But
Yeah.
nah, to me, I guess yeah. So I guess I'm just keeping my head down, and then
Yeah.
everything else will follow. All
Yeah.
the extra stuff will
Do
follow.
you ever
But
get
I
tired of
have the right
this?
intent. I have this stuff
Yeah.
like this. No,
Yeah.
I can get tired of of building
Yeah.
and dealing with this and dealing with
Yeah.
attorneys and dealing with
Yeah.
that. But stuff like this, no.
Yeah.
This is I don't know. No,
Yeah.
I can go on for days,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
this is nah. I don't get tired of this
Yeah.
ever. But it's just again, I just I generally just want to help people. And I just want
No.
to put people on. I just want I especially like people that I can relate to, that can relate to me.
Yeah.
Like I just want them to know, like this it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
It's you know.
Yeah. No, that's a fact.
So I guess I appreciate everything you're saying too, and
Yeah. No, of
that lets
course.
me know that what I'm working on and everything that I'm every initiative that I'm trying to offer to people is actually being received. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and even like something simple, right? This is totally random, but something simple as like when we were talking at D's baby shower, um,
Hmm.
we were talking, and then I think something happened where like I got sidetracked and I had to go do something, and you just was like, "Yo, go, don't even worry about it. Go take care of that." Like something simple as that, it shows how like, yo, this person really like is a good dude. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, like we can catch up, we can talk. Like whereas some
I
other people like,
appreciate
yo,
that,
like
and
come
we
on,
actually did.
we did. You know what I mean? So it shows
Yeah.
it shows me a lot about like your character. You know what I mean? So like something so small like that. You know what I mean? But man, yo, like I feel
I
like
appreciate that.
there's so much more stuff that I want to talk about. I don't want to I want us to have like more of like a part one, part two, maybe a part three type of like
Word, word.
episode. But
Yeah, I think I'm 100% down for that. I
yeah,
am. I have like I have just 2 minutes here, but
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
love to do a part two and catch
yeah,
up and yeah,
yeah. But
for sure.
no, Sam, man, I really appreciate you, bro, man. Take care. Blessings to you, my dude, and thank you for being on this podcast,
Likewise,
bro. And
likewise. I
I'll hit you
appreciate
up
you very
offline, and
much.
I'll hit you up offline too, so I can set you so we can like talk more and stuff. So,
For sure, for
but all right,
sure.
bro. I
Hey, thank
appreciate
you.
you, man.
I appreciate your time too.
All right, take care, bro.
All right, take care.